Hey guys, Kurt here, and this time, as you can see by the title, this is a bit different since I've only ever, whenever I review, a whole chapter or something, it's generally in, a weekly chapter form. But the other day, I tried to do this kind of with everything that came out, and, the day I recorded it, a new chapter, I think it was, of Tokyo Revengers came out, even though I had already mentioned Tokyo Revengers in that video. So, the video was kind of pointless. That and the audio came out weirdly, I don't know why. So, what I'm going to do this time, and probably for the future, if this video does well, and others I'll upload similar to this, is I'll just record say a few chapters, say a One Piece chapter comes out, I'll just review the One Piece chapter if it has anything to talk about, and if it's multiple chapters, say My Hero, Black Clover, and One Piece come out on the same day, then I'll just review them all at the same time. I'm mainly doing this just because I want to upload more videos, and this is just a nice way. Plus, whenever I read a lot of these chapters, which is weekly series or monthly, I generally have something I want to say, but I never get to say it because, again, doing weekly reviews of everything I read is kind of a headache, just because the second I finish editing the video, a new chapter of one of the series I mentioned in the video comes out, and it kind of just not invalidates, but it kind of makes a part of the video pointless, or at least in my opinion. So basically what I'm going to be doing is, as in the title, I'm going to be talking about the latest two Blue Lock chapters, mainly because they're kind of similar and there's something I want to mention in the last one, and just the latest solo leveling chapter, and basically just the recent solo leveling stuff in here, the latest chapters and just stuff about it. So yeah, let's get straight into it. I'm going to start with Blue Lock, and I'm probably going to have a timestamp on screen to when the solo leveling part starts, in case you want to just read that. I'm not read that, but in case you're watching for that, I'll have that on just in case. So yeah, pretty simple. Let's get straight into it. So to start, the reason I mentioned that I was gonna talk about the last Blue Lock chapter as well, including this one, is just because I felt like that last one had a lot of good things that, again, there weren't the biggest moments, but they were just nice things that I really liked. For example, the chapter starts, and I'm pretty sure I don't remember if it's Rin or Yoichi, but it's one of them saying, oh, Blue Lock is centered around the other one, right? So say Yoichi's talking about how Blue Lock is centered around Rin, and the exact next page is Rin talking about it's centered around Yoichi, and after that it's them talking about how they'll devour each other and all that. Though, first of all, their whole I guess duo or duality or whatever, I really liked how it's been forming, especially in this arc, I guess. In this game, it's been really interesting how they've all evolved and how their chemistry has just changed and how it's working. I also liked how Rin mentions oh, you're the same blood and veins as me, there's no reason why you should be better, and how he analyzes it in both that last chapter and in this chapter, which I'll talk about in a second. So as far as chapters go, is it the most hype Blue Lock chapter ever though? Not really, but it's still something that has, it's good, and it also builds up to the moment that happens in the most recent chapter, which is chapter 140. And speaking of, let's get straight into it. The chapter starts by Rin just most of the chapter realistically is just Rin analyzing how, first of all, the page about him talk about how his type of dribbling is different from the other two, Bachira and the other guy. I like how he specifically says that instead of just trying to get past them, he analyzes how they're gonna go, and then counters to that instead of having to have the other team counter to him, if that makes sense. That's nice. And the way he just analyzes them, he talks about their past, and then the scene where he basically risks his life just to stop that ball is great. Now, should that have been a foul? Because in the bottom says he'll want to get foul. I don't. It depends on how I guess malicious it was, but it didn't even feel like he was purposely trying to kick Rin. Also, I don't think it should have been a foul. But off topic here, I don't know how Rin isn't more hurt from you see the ball hit him and all that, and it just feels so painful. It just looks so painful. There's blood everywhere and everything. It looks like he kicked him in the head. I mean, he did kick him in the head, but by the way they panel it, just looks like he literally just kicked him in the head instead of kicking the ball, and in the process hit him in the head. That's not complete. I'm just saying I don't know if you consider that praise or a complaint. I don't know. I just that probably I would have been more interesting, I guess, if Rin had to be taken out of the game for saving that goal and almost probably having a concussion. I feel that would have just made the game a lot more interesting, even though it's already very interesting and the stakes are already high and everything. I feel that's great. The fact that right after, like, they don't even waste any time talking about it, they just go straight in to Yoichi again, trying to solve this, like, 800-piece jigsaw puzzle that he's been trying to solve since, like, probably before this game, which has just been, like, a ridiculous amount of time. I don't even know how long this game is. Probably, like, 40 chapters by now or something ridiculous. There's that, which is, honestly, when he completes this full, like, jigsaw puzzle he's been trying to complete with, like, trances, flow, and all this, I'm just really hyped to see how that's going to turn out. And I think it's going to probably, like, I guess, give us the payoff in the next 3 chapters. Not even going to be that far off. Just because, like, he's probably about to score as well. There's that. I think my only complaint with the last 2 chapters is, I mean, if it is, like, for example, because Yoichi says, oh, Rin trying to, like, erase Sai or whatever his name. I don't know how you would say his name. But, like, Rin trying to just erase his brother basically from the game, just making him useless. I feel like with how built up he's been and just how, just, like, broken he's just played, like, throughout the whole game, right? I definitely feel like just Rin playing a bit more defensively just wouldn't really, maybe not cut it, but it wouldn't really, like, it wouldn't feel right. An attacker, like, just playing a bit more defensively just is gonna stop, like, this whole character that's been, like, said to be, like, he's so good, he's so amazing, and it's probably, like, the biggest threat to Blue Lock in, like, the series' whole existence. What I think it should have been handled differently. I don't know how. I just don't feel like that should have been, like, I don't think that would have been the best thing. And also, personally, I would have, subbed Rin, not maybe subbed Rin out, but I would have made Rin's injury a bit bigger, I guess, or just, like, make it feel like it wasn't just him getting touched. Now, maybe these 2 things are going to change. Maybe even though Yoichi says that like, it's Rin defending more is going to basically just stop Sei from being of any use, and that whole, like, him being okay, maybe those 2 things are going to change. I don't know, since I didn't make the manga, I don't make it, so I can't say. But as for me, that's really all my complaints. I feel like these chapters had more positives than negatives. I think this chapter probably if the other one was like a 7 or 7.5, I give this like an 8 or a 7.5. I just really feel like it was definitely better. It's just that there hasn't really been anything that's just, like, had me super excited. I'm just more excited for the next chapter. But that's not something new with Blue Lock. Like, even when we're not in games, Blue Lock is, like, one of my favorite series to read weekly, which is also a good series to binge, but I don't know why. I just feel like reading it weekly just fits, and it just feels really good. That and Love is War are 2 series that I really love reading weekly. They just, like, perfectly feel great for weekly. The main other series I'd say is great for reading weekly is really Solo Leveling, and since I already mentioned, let's get straight into it. As for Solo Leveling, I definitely feel like this, like, recent chapter, at first it was still good. I just felt like it just, like, got so much better at the end with that, like, great cliffhanger / ending to the chapter. Like, I don't know what they're gonna do. Maybe it's, like, gonna be some type of way that they do in other series where, like, the main character dies and he doesn't come back for a few chapters. But if they do that, like, let's be honest, everyone's gonna die. No one competes with the other monarchs. I don't know how they're gonna handle it, right? Because I got, like, zero clue who else could actually compete. Actually, you know what? I just remembered that one guy that, like, just showed up with the sniper person. I forgot. First of all, I'm assuming that's his dad, and if that's his dad, then I'm just make also another assumption that he's gonna, like, I don't know, show up and either fight or do something with Sung Jin-woo. Since I doubt he's just gonna leave him there and just let him die. I hope the series doesn't just, like, have him drink a potion and that's it. I feel like really that would just be, like, a fake way of getting you invested. I mean, yeah, it's still gonna get you invested. I just feel like that's a very cheap and just bad way to get you invested in the next chapter. And that's really just not something I'd like to see, considering, like, again, I guess Solo Leveling isn't, like, noted for the most, I don't know, like, a great cast or a great writing or whatever, but it's still a really fun series. And that's mainly just because, like, the main errors you can find in Solo Leveling aren't really ones that are, like, so big that, like, I don't know, make the story bad or boring. It's just a very interesting and just fun series to read, right? So I really hope he doesn't, like, the person who makes, I don't know who it is, right? But I really hope they don't make some kind of mistake, like, just, like, having him survive that normally, or I just want there to be stakes in him basically messing up, basically, if that makes sense. So there's that. There really wasn't much else in the chapter, just, like, kind of showing off just how broken Sung Jin-woo is, and I'm pretty sure there's been, like, some type of foreshadowing for a while now to just like the existence of monarchs in general. Because I remember like I don't remember exactly what chapter it was, or even like the general range. But there was one time where like Sung Jin Woo was in this like ice dungeon or something. That I don't remember how it spawned. But the ice monarch guy that's like in this newest chapter that he tried to kill, he's like, oh, I'll for sure kill you. I'm pretty sure he showed up there for the first time, and he just did some stuff. I don't remember much of the early chapters or like the middle section for Soul Leveling, but like I caught up, I think a week before the season 1 quote unquote ended. So I read that in like a week or two, because I just like, because Soul Leveling is one of those series that I honestly, it's still good weekly, but I still prefer a lot more reading it like in a binge. It's just like, I don't know, the chapters fly by, especially like the middle part. So yeah, I don't really have much to talk about. I'd say the 2 Blue Lock chapters combined are like a 7.5 to an 8. And then as for the Soul Leveling chapter, I'll probably give it like, if the next chapter is done good, which I know it doesn't really make sense, but if the next chapter is done good, I'll probably give it like an 8. But if it's like, if they mess it up somehow, I know this doesn't really make sense since that's a whole different chapter, but that's just how my thoughts on the chapter are going to change. Then I'll probably give it like a 7 or 7.5. But yeah, it's basically it for the video. Now, so I'm gonna try to upload this. I uploaded this on the 28th of July, so I'm gonna try to upload this like tomorrow. Since it's really not much of like work when it comes to editing. So yeah, if it comes out on the 29th, then everything's happy. If it's not, then whatever. I'll just do it on the next day, and I'll try to do this for other series or like One Piece, just any chapter really that I guess like has something worth mentioning every week. And yeah, I also want to do this because like I could upload more videos, and 2, it's just like, for example, if I have some news, I'd have to like say, like, for example, what I do a lot of the time in manga week or like manga progress thingies, then I can just do that like here. Like if it's something small, so when I say like manga progress stuff, or again manga progress and just other news in general. So yeah, it's basically it for the video. I know it's kind of sudden, but if you'd like to let me know what you thought down below, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and peace.